What's up guys, my name is Fox, welcome to another video. This is a quickie ChargeBlade guide for people that have no idea what to do with the ChargeBlade, that just want to get into it and that want to play it. So let's jump right into it. First, what is the ChargeBlade about? Let's look in the top left corner of our screen. We have the health bar, stamina bar, sharpness bar, and then we have the ChargeBlade components. 4 of them basically. So the first one is the sword. Next to it you have the shield. And the third one is the axe, obviously. Lastly, on the side of the axe, you have the phials. We'll get into everything now. First, when you draw your weapon, usually you are in sword and shield mode. This mode is used to block. By pressing RT on your controller, you block. That will just standardly block everything as you would expect it. And if you press other buttons, you attack with your sword. What is the first goal? Your first goal is to charge phials. The way you do that is by attacking, so let's quickly do this. This is your best attack to charge your phials. It's just holding B down and follow it up with a Y. This is pretty good to charge your phials. Now you see that your phials actually are not really charged, they just are glowing red. Glowing red means that they will all be charged. If it's glowing yellow, only half of them will be charged. And now in order to actually charge your phials, you press the guard button and you press your B button. Voila, we charged our phials, they're now usable. What does this mean? This means that you do extra damage with your attacks that can use these phials. Those are mostly axe attacks or AEDs, which are also axe attacks, but we're going to get into that. Now, the first thing you want to do is to actually charge your shield. You want to put those phials into your shield so that your shield becomes stronger. It gives a higher guard level. It's very useful. The way we do that is by basically, again, pressing the same buttons we just did. So the charge button, this time it doesn't work because we have nothing that needs to be charged. But if you then press the B button again, you will see how it now puts our phials into the shield. Voila, now the shield is glowing, you have it charged. That's the first thing you want to do. Now back to charging our phials again. So we're gonna use the combo I talked about earlier to get it to red. There we go. And we're gonna charge the phials again. Now, if you want to charge your sword, which is something that you can do, not mandatory, but it can be useful, you can do the same as before, but instead of pressing the B button, you press the Y button. Voila. Big damage and a nice charged sword. Not mandatory, but still can be done. So what do we do with the charges now? What do we do with the phials? We basically want to expand them. The way we do this is that we use an AED, Axe Elemental Discharge. So I'm going to show it once quickly. Amped Element Discharge, that's the name. That's the one that we want to do. As you can see, one file is missing now. The way we do this is by pressing the Y button, then we press Y and B together, and we repeat that. So Y, both together, and once more, and we have an Amped Element Discharge. Now this attack is good for short openings. If you have a big opening, you can also do the Super Element Discharge, which is basically the same but just stronger because it is called super. So let's charge the phials again quickly. We have now yellow. I will charge them, and you can see one phial is overcharged, so it deals a bit more damage. Not necessary, but still good to know. You can only execute the super amped element discharge if your shield is charged, so keep that in mind. The way you do this is by, after you have the amped element discharge, you press again Y and B at the same time. So I'm going to show you doing an amped element discharge. I press both buttons and we're going into the super amped element discharge. This gets rid of all of the phials. Big damage, great attack. That's basically the real basics of this weapon. Now there's also this thing called axe mode, which I'm going to get into and how to get that now. First I need to change something for that. The axe mode is super fun to play. It's currently also very strong. I think both are very strong, and you should play whatever is more fun to you, obviously. Now the axe mode, there's 2 ways to get that. First, you can remove a wound on your monster by pressing your focus mode and then just double rend. That will remove a wound and give you axe mode. But in case you don't have access to a wound, you can also do a perfect guard. What does perfect guard mean? It means just pressing the block button at the exact right moment when you get hit, so that you have a perfect guard, and then you press Y to get access to axe mode. So let's have a look at how this looks like. We're going to get hit here, and then press a guard at the exact right moment, and then press Y. Savage Axe Slash, voila, we have now access to Axe mode. This has basically a few abilities. You can press here whatever you feel like, both is great. Your B will expand your phials, Y is a more vertical slash, and if we now charge phials, I'm just going to show you. When we then use element discharge, it will also use up phials, as you can see, and we will occasionally do an amped element discharge. That's basically the way to play this. There's obviously much more to it, there's more nuances to it. Now here, one mistake, always keep your shield charged, also in this case, because your axe will do more damage if your shield is charged. That's really the simple basics of this weapon. There's a lot more to it. Maybe I'll make a guide in the future about everything else there is for this weapon, but this is just to get you started so that you know what you're doing and how it works. It's a great weapon, it's super fun. Try it out. Thank you a lot for watching. Hope you enjoyed it, hope it was helpful. I'll see you in the next one.